The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. I am super excited about my guest today. Actually, well, I have two, but we'll get into my second guest later, who's actually going to be in studio. But my first guest is calling in all the way from Guam. I've had him on before a couple years ago, and I've known him for years now, and he's really an incredible guy. And what he's doing is so important, and it really goes back to my roots with bullying and anti-bullying. So we have the one and only Richard Santiago with us for our first guest. So hi, Richard. How are you?
Hi, Corey. Glad to be back on the show.
Oh, we're really happy to have you back because, like I said, you really, it goes way back to my roots, and the whole reason I started this show in the first place was really to help people and talk about bullying and how we can get it to stop. And you know firsthand about how horrible the problem is, so I think what you're doing is incredible.
Thank you very much. Before I get started, can I give a shout out? Would that be okay?
Sure.
I want to give a shout out to my friends Patrick Wirtz and my other friend Saba, who have just been nominated for an Emmy.
Oh, awesome.
Patrick was nominated for Outstanding Achievement in Directing for a non-fiction film called No Greater Odds. So I want to give a shout out to both of them, and I hope that they win in this coming Emmy.
Definitely. That'd be super cool. Well, that's a great shout out. And so now let's talk about you and your incredible work and really why you're here today. Why don't you explain it is what you're working on and what you're trying to promote?
Okay, sure. I'm working on a film called When Bullies Become Bosses. It is a project I've been working on for like 10 years now. We're in the editing process, and we're trying to get this film done and hopefully save lives and change laws out there. Bullying is a real thing. A lot of people feel that bullying is not real for adults. They see it as for kids, but they don't see it for adults. But it is bullying. There's no other word you could put it. You know, when you manipulate someone to do something on a job that may be either illegal or not morally right, and you force them and you to do that through intimidation, that's bullying. And some people don't see that, so we're trying to bring awareness to that. And like I said, change people's lives. Some people don't know they're going through it, so they feel they're alone. And when they realize, there's other people going through the same thing, it keeps them from doing anything that might be damaging to either others or themselves.
Yeah, no, and like I was saying, it's as everyone, I don't think there's any denying how horrible a problem is for bullying, especially for teenagers and stuff. But you're showing that it goes to adulthood, unfortunately. And some bullies do grow up and they get over how they used to act and everything, or maybe realize how horrible they were to people. But unfortunately, a lot of them continue to get worse, and they're just really nasty people that are still unhappy and still wanting to bring people down. And like you bring up a lot too, they put people down to build themselves up and climb higher and higher up the ladder, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yes, and it's a shame that some companies don't tolerate it, but unfortunately a large majority of companies do, because they just see, well, this guy is bringing in the money, this guy's doing good for us financially. So they just either look the other way, or they just, don't care about what's going on and how he's making that money.
Yeah. And Richard, you know what I wanted to actually bring up while we're talking about it, just kind of popped in my head. I think now with the Time's Up movement and everything, it seems like they're putting more attention into sexual harassment and stuff, which I guess technically it's a horrible, horrible form, but you can kind of put it in with bullying as well. And it's the same thing, bosses harassing women and stuff, or guys, for that, and they're in power, and so it's an uncomfortable situation. So do you think that kind of works into that, and because of this movement, maybe it will work with the bullying and maybe bring more attention to that as well? Or do you think there's more hope with this?
I really see, that people are really noticing that what they're saying and what they're doing is really does affect people, and I'm hoping, yes, that with everyone being aware of what's going on in Hollywood with women, that it will gain more traction. But the second part of your question, I'm sorry. I do see it, yes, I do see it, and I'm hoping that people would understand that bullying is nothing more than sexual harassment or bullying on some, because most of the time people are bullying on them because they don't want, like I've talked to one female who her boss did not want a female working. It was an all-male office. She was the only female. He didn't want her there, so he bullied her. But that's sexual harassment. That's not bullying. I've seen situations where an African-American was in the same situation, working, the only African-American there. People didn't want him there, so they bullied him to get him out. That's not bullying. That's more than bullying. And I think large majority, that's what it is. Nowadays, you can't say you don't like someone because they're female, or someone because they're Jewish or whatever. So you can't say that anymore. So you pick another way to do exactly what you've been doing for, who knows, 50, 40, 50 years of this going on, however long it's been going on. But that's the thing that gets me about bullying. That's what really attracted me to the subject, is that it's not bullying. It's you're discriminating. You're discriminating. But in the form that you're doing it, it makes it look like it's bullying, and there's no law against bullying, so everyone looks the other way.
Right. No, you're completely right. And actually, I was going to ask you too, Richard, how did you get involved with this? I believe you have personal experience, and that's why you even decided to do this film in the first place.
That is correct. Yeah. When people see my film, they think that I don't understand, but I do understand. I've worked for 12 years with the United States Postal Service, and I was bullied, and the National Letter Carriers Organization, the union that's supposed to protect letter carriers, did not protect me at all. And eventually I was let go, but I sued, and the outcome of that will be on the film.
Gotcha. So honestly, that just shows that you do have firsthand experience, and you do really understand. And
it's really funny, because there are people that don't want to. I don't know how to put it. They're afraid to come talk with me or something like that, because I guess they feel that I won't understand, and I'll just tell them like everyone else did. Hey, grow up. Grow thicker skin or something. But no, I understand, and I get it. And when someone has so much power over you, like your boss, that they can simply, easily just wave their hand and you're out of a job, that's very intimidating. For me, when I was being yelled at by supervisors at the Postal Service, it didn't bother me at all, and they saw that, and then, so what they started to do was, we got to up the ante, and they started, suspending me. Now you're messing with my income and how I make money, and so that's when I had to say, okay, now I have to file grievances and I have to do something to make this stop, because it's not just yelling. You want to yell at me all day? To me, that's all part of the business. You know, any business, especially a business where, like ours, where we're entertaining people, because we're you know, artists wear their feelings on their sleeves, so to speak. So the emotions are out there all the time. So people scream and yell. And you know, maybe this is a bad thing to say, but that doesn't bother me, the screaming and yelling. You apologize to each other, you hug, and it's all over, and you continue working, you know, or you decide, you know, I'm not going to work with you anymore because whatever you decide. But when you start to play games and manipulate and bring other people into it and start to gang up pretty much on someone to make them feel like they're inferior, and then they start dropping the ball and they start making mistakes, and then you use those mistakes to terminate people, that's wrong. And that's when I decided I'm going to do a film.
Yeah.
So I'm currently trying to get together $70,000 to finish the film, and I'm hoping that people would open up their hearts and help me tell the stories of not only my life, but the stories of people from, you know, all over the United States.
Yeah, and you know, that's what I was gonna say. School is bad enough because that's when children are very, anyone would be very upset and sensitive, and you're being constantly harassed in school and everything. But in work, it's the same thing. You spend even more time than you do at school, and it's your livelihood, and that's literally how you live is through working. So when you're being constantly harassed and your job is being threatened every day because of people that are bullying you, and your bosses are harassing you and giving you a hard time and threatening your job, I mean, that's even more scary, honestly, because that's how you make a living. And what are you going to do if you don't have your job anymore?
Right. And it's really sad, because for me, you know, the story here when it comes to the Postal Service is that, I don't know if you remember, but I'm sure your manager will remember, in the late 80s, early 90s, there were a lot of postal shootings. You know, every time you look, there was a postal shooting. Sort of like now, unfortunately, how you look now and there's a school shooting.
Yeah.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was like that for postal shootings. And I've looked into them, and being an employee myself, I was able to really look into them. And a large majority of them could have been prevented. And it's sad because people died in those shootings. And they could have all been prevented if the union had did their job and the postal people high up in Washington paid attention to what was really going on instead of ignoring it. And I think that's the big story here, that all this could have been prevented and lives could have been saved.
Definitely. And I think that's so important that you started this conversation and really showed that.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can no longer hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is this a little better? Okay.
Hello, you there?
Hello, Richard, are you there? Can you hear me? Richard? Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulties. As I said, he's calling in from Guam, so I think that's kind of what the problem is. But yes, please go check out his GoFundMe account.
Hello.
Oh, Richard, are you there? Can you hear me, Richard? Okay. Yeah, so please go check out his GoFundMe account, because that is, like I was saying, it's such a very important topic. And it's a very big problem in not only America, but literally across the world. And I think now is the perfect time to get this out there and to start showing what a big problem it is, and how we need to solve it, and what laws need to be put into place. So please go check out Richard's GoFundMe page. It's The Bully Exposed. And you can go right on there, check everything out, find out how to donate, and help in any way you possibly can, because it's very important. And let's make a change with this. So we're going to take a quick break, but then we'll come back with this an amazing author who I'm so excited to have on, and we'll be right back.
Retrospecs is a purveyor, if you will, of historical eyewear. Retrospecs is located on the second floor, right across from the chandelier bar. So when you look at our store from the outside, it looks like there isn't much going on in here. And then you open the drawers. We actually carry authentic pieces from the late 1890s to the 1990s. We have almost 3,000 pieces in here. It's like a treasure trove reveal. We do have a collection of new glasses that we have reproduced ourselves. It's called the Cuthbert and Chen collection. The safe is our jewel. It's our baby. We love it. It's from 1903. It weighs as much as a car. It's solid steel. We use the safe to hold our most precious pieces, our museum collection, if you will. People come in to find glasses that are not something they're going to find everywhere else, not something all their friends are wearing, and something that they can tell that story. We sell stories as much as we sell glasses. We have pieces that we can associate with very famous people from history, movies, special events that happened in the past. And some of the favorites are the Ray-Ban shooter that Johnny Depp wore in Fear and Loathing of Las Vegas, the beautiful frame France Parisian plastic aviator worn by Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. Retrospecs is not just about glasses, it's about the experience, it's about how these glasses make you feel. We are a full-service optical shop, somewhere where guests can come to get repairs, restoration, can put their prescription in, can get them a quick pair of sunglasses for the pool, and can give them a really great, just fun experience.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. And now, as I said, I have this amazing author with me today. His name is Robin Brown, and he has a really cool and important and special book with him today that he is going to talk about. So thank you for coming on. We are super excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we're, like I said, truly honored. I've known you for about over a year now, and we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
But now this book really is incredible, and it has such an important meaning. So why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Well, it's titled The Life of a Running Man because I spent my life running from God. And, you know, it's basically my testimony of 36-year drug addiction and a few near-death experiences. You know, I got bit by a rattlesnake, had a car fall on me, you know, so you name it, it's happened to me. But I ended up going to prison in 2014. Spent the whole year 2014 in prison. And that's when I got God back in my life, and it's been an amazing journey ever since. I had no intentions of writing a book. I just started writing my life down, and all of a sudden, here it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I'd ever really accomplish much in my life, but this is it's been amazing. I mean, you know, I've had a lot of people from our church help with the publishing of it. As you know, we've, like you said, we've been through some stuff together.
We have.
And but it's good. You know, God's been great to us. He's blessed us beyond words. You know, way more than I deserve. And now I want to do His will, and this is part of. You know, my book is part of it. I did my testimony at church on the big screen, and this is the whole testimony right here, not a 5-minute clip. So it's I'm just excited to see what's in the future for me.
Of course. And why don't you hold it out? Because I think it's really, I love the cover of it and everything. And I mean, that's really cool. You should be so proud of yourself to get this published.
Well, I am. It's like I said, I didn't even graduate high school, so publishing a book was like never even crossed my mind.
Right.
And it's just been it's been a great experience. I wrote it to inspire people, hopefully inspire people and give them some encouragement, like what God can do for you. I also do a ministry through our church with God Behind Bars, where my book is available, because that's where this all started, was when I was in jail.
Right.
And it's just been a phenomenal experience, and it's I don't know what else to say.
No,
I
want to bring up. No, we don't want to give away too much of what's in the book, but what was basically, how did you get from a life of crime and running away from God,
Right.
and to believing and being so amazing with God and really trying to spread His word and stuff? And I know you said it was prison, but what really was it that made you change that way?
Well, it wasn't really a life of crime. I always worked. I took care of my family. I went to jail because I was trying to take care of my family. I just went about it the wrong way. I was in jail, and I was actually watching, it was 2 days before Christmas, the story of the Bible came on. And it just, my whole life started coming back to me. It's like, because I was raised in the church, and I got down on my knees, prayed to God, and it was like I got up a new person. It's, I had none of the desires or the foul language, or everything was just gone. It was like he actually gave me a clean slate to start off of. And so I just started writing, and as it went by, people in jail, they'd say, "Well, what are you writing?" I said, "Just writing." "Well, let me read it." So I'd let them read it, and they said, "Man, you got to publish this." So that's where it all started, was it was jail.
Yeah.
So that's why one of my I don't want to say a target, but I'm hoping one of my biggest audiences will be prisoners.
Yeah.
And they can go to, I know in Kingman they can go to Amazon. They can order books off Amazon. Right. It's available through iuniverse.com. I'm going to have my own website set up by the end of the month, so you'll be able to order through that, and I'll let you know when what the website is. And
Right.
I also have a GoFundMe account set up to help with the marketing of this, because the marketing is just, every day I have somebody, "Oh, well, we can do this for you for another $1,000.
Right.
And it's like, this is all new to me. I don't know what to expect, but it's all in God's hands.
That's right.
I've put this book in God's hands from day one, and here it is.
Yeah.
This is the biggest accomplishment I've ever achieved.
Definitely.
And it's the one thing I really followed through with, next to my marriage of 38 years.
Yes, and your lovely wife is here too.
Yeah.
You guys, first of all, are the best couple too.
Well, she's the best.
You guys are both
I'm
awesome.
just part of it.
No, and I really think this is a life-changing book for a lot of people, and
I hope it is.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, especially like you mentioned, I think it would be excellent with the prisons and everything.
Yeah.
What a perfect book to get. Have you thought about actually going there and seeing or talking to them to see if they can somehow incorporate it into anything they do? Or
Well, I actually go to Kingman Prison. I go down there every other week.
Oh, wow.
And we take our church service from Central Christian Church into the prison, and it's done. God Behind Bars it's all over the country, and I think I'm gonna go to a stretch and say it's in a lot of prisons across in the world.
Wow.
But I know it's all over the country, and it's something I didn't think I would do again, because when I got out of jail, it's like the last thing I wanted to do was go back inside. But that's where God's led me, was back inside, and let these guys know that they're not forgotten. There is hope for them. God loves him just as much as he does anybody else, and it's a matter of the choices they make.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's an inspirational book. I hope to give people confidence and let them see, through my life that theirs may not be as bad as they thought it was. And God will help anybody. All you got to do is ask him and be willing to listen to him.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest part. Because I'd always say, back before all this, it was like, what would my life be like without the drugs? Just without the drugs. Didn't even put God into it. And I just never dreamed it could be as good as what it is. I mean, and now I look back and say, man, what took me so long? I mean, was I really that hard-headed to where, and God was behind me. One of the phrases I use in the book is, like, every time something would happen, like when I got bit by the snake, or almost going to jail through other means, but it was close, and it was I just asked God, help me out of this, and I'll live for you, and then he'd help me out of it, and I'd just take off running. And that's why I came up with the life of a running man, because every time he said he would help me, I just kept running. Yeah. And but one of the phrases that I use in the book is, God was always behind me with his arm reached out, telling me to stop. I'll help you. And he helped me.
Yeah. No, and I was gonna say, I think you're a little tough on yourself. Everyone goes through different journeys and stuff, and I think that's what's so important about this book, is it's showing that it's never too late, and no matter what you've done, you can always turn back to God.
Right.
And I think that's a very important message, and it shows that it's not too late. And that's amazing. And do you have advice for anyone that might be struggling, whether they are in prison or in some other way, that have maybe turned away from God, or are thinking about coming back?
Well, the biggest advice I could say is, if you hear a voice in the back of your head saying, stop, I'll help you, it's the voice of God. Yeah. And listen to him, because he created you. So he wants to help you be what all you can be. Yeah. So that would be my advice. If you hear that voice, listen, because he's there. And he's there for everybody, not just the chosen few. No. He's there for everybody.
Of course.
So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. And why don't you go over again where everyone can find it and buy it, and help with your GoFundMe page as well?
The GoFundMe page it's a friend of mine set it up for me. It's under The Life of a Running Man by Robin Brown. And if you go to my Facebook page, you can find it on there. It's available through iUniverse, Amazon, according to the marketing that I have, it's supposed to be available in 1,100 bookstores, Barnes and Noble. So it's basically worldwide over the internet. So it's available out there.
Definitely.
And as soon as I get my website set up, which, like I said, should be the end of this month, I'll let you know what it is, and you can put it out there. And I'm gonna put it on social media, and but.
Yeah.
And this is it again. So, it's a short read. It's not something like it's going to take you a week or two or three, right. Or you look at it, it's like, man, I got to read all of that. It's a good, quick read, and it's in my opinion, and for what the people I've talked to said that it keeps them interested. When they start reading it, they can't put it down. So it's and that's not just my promotion for it. You know, this is what other people have said. You know, so it's a good read. You know, and hopefully it can. My purpose for the book is to try to change lives.
Yeah.
For the better.
And I think you are.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And, you know, with God's help, it's going to go where He wants it to go. And, you know, it's in His hands.
Definitely.
So.
Well, I think it's incredible, and I really thank you for being on and sharing this story. And I really hope everyone will go and support it and donate to the GoFundMe page in any way they can help would be amazing. So.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. And it's you know, it's strictly for the marketing and just to cover the expenses that I did not see coming.
Yeah, there's a lot. No, for sure.
I mean, I thought the publishing was, you know, a little steep, but the marketing is like puts it to shame. And it's like, but you gotta have it.
Of course.
So, but anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Well, I love it, and I really, like I said, I really hope everyone will go and support it for sure in any way they can. So
Well,
I think it'll change a lot of lives.
I thank you very much, and I hope so.
Yes. Well, we're actually, before we head out, we actually have Richard back on the phone because, as you guys know, we got disconnected. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with Richard, and we'll go over with Robin one more time everything, and you guys will be able to check it out and support. So stick around.
Put her hand in mine and said she loved me so very long ago.
Hey, how's it going? You can just throw your name up on the list and we'll get right to you. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming in. Let me just clean this spot up and then we'll get right to you. You can hop on up if you're ready. Welcome to the shop. You need a shave too, though, right?
I don't know if I would accept a shave from somebody who's unshaven.
I look like a child when I have a clean-shaven face.
No, I wouldn't want a child cutting my hair. And I'd also need to know that the blades have been sanitized thoroughly.
I can guarantee you that the barbicide is 100% authentic, and these are sanitized tools I'm using.
Well, what is the...
Have you ever gotten a straight razor shave?
Is there any other kind? This stuff smells like Irish Spring.
Brings me back to childhood.
Did you grow up in a chemical plant? Hurry up.
Yeah, well, you know. Now you look like $1 million.
Well, that's your job. I'll be sure and mention your facility during my show tonight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. Once again, we have Richard Santiago calling in from Guam. I know we had some technical difficulties there, but we do have him back on. So, Richard, like we were saying, your film is incredible, and I'm so excited for it and for people to be exposed to it. And you were saying you have a GoFundMe page for people to support because it's a lot of hidden costs and everything, and it's very expensive to get a film out there. So where can people follow you and get a hold of it and really support in any way possible, because it's a very important cause?
Yes, it's an Indiegogo that we're doing. We're working with Indiegogo.
Okay.
And the best way to get a hold of it is just to go to Facebook and go to our page and like our page. When Bullies Become Bosses is the name of the Facebook page. And you can go on there, and from there you can find the link to donate to our campaign. And I want everyone to know that we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Oh, awesome.
So we're legit. It's real, you know, and you can use it as a tax-deductible donation on your taxes when you give. So that could be an incentive for people to open up their hearts.
Very much so. Yeah, if nothing else, go and donate to get the tax incentive. If nothing else, what a great cause to do it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for calling in again from Guam.
Thank you.
Yeah, and please, everyone, go and support it because, like we were saying, it's such an important cause, and it's such a huge problem here, and literally, like I said, across the world, and it needs to stop. It really does, because it just gets worse and worse as you're an adult, and it's horrible that it's gotten to this point. So,
Yep.
yeah, so thank you so much, Richard, for bringing attention to that and helping the world be exposed to such a great thing.
No problem, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. It's a little bit hard on this island for internet.
Oh, no problem at all. I completely understand, but we're so happy you were able to call back in because I really want people to go and support, and so to get the links and everything, that's very important.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much again for being on, Richard. It was an honor having you.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
And thank you, and for calling in all the way from Guam. I can't even imagine what time it is there, so thank you.
It's 7:35 on Wednesday. 7:35 in the morning on Wednesday.
Oh.
So one day ahead.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, so you're in the future.
Yes, exactly what I tell people.
Wow.
In the future, I see bullying ending. How's that?
I love it. I think that's perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you, Corey.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, these two gentlemen are really incredible people who are doing incredible things, and they could really use any support you can. So please go like their pages, go donate to both of their pages, because they're both they're different causes, but they're both very important. And I think everyone can just learn to put their heart out there and really be supportive of everyone in any way you can. Even, like I said, $1 would make a big difference for a donation. Yeah. And buy the book too, because what an incredible book and what an inspirational book. So
thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for being on, and thank you once again to Mr. Richard Santiago. Please go check out and support in any way you can, because they're both awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you, and God bless.